And later, and we have arrived to the main event of the evening, UFC 281, middleweight title bout between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So first, we'll toast to this one. This is an exciting fight, man. I made sure to save some of this Bardstown bourbon. I wanted to drink it so fast. Oh, my God. This is a good one worth waiting for. So we have Israel, the last style better, Adesanya, putting his middleweight strap on the line. A 33-year-old out of Nigeria. Was 23-1 as a pro with 15 knockouts, 8 decisions. Riding a 3-fight win streak coming into this weekend. The only loss of his career was when he moved up to challenge for the light heavyweight title against Jan Blachowicz and lost in a decision. So he has never been finished in MMA, which has importance with this matchup, of course. So he's undefeated at middleweight, and he's facing off against the only guy who has knocked him out in his fighting career, Alex Pereira, who knocked him out in kickboxing only in 2017. Pereira, the 35-year-old fighting out of Brazil. He is 6-1 as a professional MMA fighter with 5 knockouts and 1 decision. He is riding a 6-fight win streak. That's right. His only loss is his first pro MMA bout. He has gone undefeated since then. Most recently knocking out Sean Strickland back in July of this year. Here we go. Did I mention 5 of his 6 victories have come by way of knockout? Mark, let me throw it over to you. Give us your take, man. Let's talk about this super high-profile title bout between Adesanya and his nemesis, Pereira.
All right. This is another one that seems to have moved a bit of late, betting lines-wise. Seems like some money has come in on Izzy because I saw this closer earlier in the week. Now he is minus 210. Alex Pereira is plus 170. Yeah, here we go. The build to this has been awesome. I'm loving the interviews. I haven't watched Countdown or Embedded yet, unfortunately. I wish I had, but there's some electricity between these guys. You can feel it. And this is certainly going to be a straight kickboxing match. Obviously, the technique is crazy high on both sides. But if we're comparing and contrasting, I guess it's going to be Izzy, who's a bit more of the smooth kickboxer, whereas Pereira is the man with the power. They both have power, of course, but Pereira's is just very silly. Even his jab is enormous. And he operates as the power striker. They play different kickboxing games. Izzy is there to touch and to flow, and Pereira is much more there to set up the kill shot. And his strikes come with a lot more of his body behind the strikes. They're definitely a different style. And Pereira may not be scared to exchange with Izzy here based on their history. And if that's the case, he may very well find openings because it's been a long time since Izzy fought someone who was completely willing to exchange with him. And, that changes the effectiveness of the game that he's used to being able to play, if that's going to be the case. And not to mention the reach is going to be a factor here too, because for once, Izzy's not going to have that in his corner. The two are the exact same height, exact same reach. They're the same guy in a lot of ways. And if Robert Whittaker's out jabbing Izzy, which is going to happen with Pereira's reach and power, then, we could see some interesting exchanges in this fight. It's a big factor to consider. And Izzy's had a lot of performances in recent times. So there's really every reason to pick Alex Pereira here if you want to. But I'm building it up that way first because I'm going to choose to believe in Izzy. I'm going to choose to think that he has turned up enough for this fight to put on the best performance of his life. Just the interviews I've seen, the little moments I've seen, he seems very dialed in, very confident. I really think we're going to see a career maker performance. I know that's bold with what he's been giving us lately, a lot of letdown type performances. I think he's up for this. I think he's more motivated than ever to put on a masterclass in this fight. And I think having fought Pereira twice already, he kind of has a mind where he thinks he can go in there and not get hurt because he thinks he knows what Pereira is bringing enough. I think he's going to play his typical movement-based sniper game, and I think he's going to pick away, land a big one here and there, not get hit as often or at least as cleanly as Pereira thinks he will, and get Pereira kind of frustrated in there. And if it does go that way, I'm very curious to see what Pereira is looking like if he is frustrated by round 4 and round 5, see what his cardio is looking like as he has to deal with that. You know, we haven't seen that from him. And we could even see Izzy mix in a takedown or two in a round that needs to be stolen on the cards, or if he needs to get himself out of a situation, if he got backed up. Like, he's capable of that. So, and maybe Pereira's capable of defending it. He does train with Glover regularly, obviously, so we don't know how quickly he's leveled up. But it wouldn't shock me to see Izzy mix in 1 or 2. So I think overall we see Izzy maybe take a big shot or 2, but we know his chin and his heart, and I think he can eat him, and I think he can keep it moving. And I'm going to say he puts it on Pereira more or less. I'm going to say it's 49-46 Izzy in a huge win.
Wow. Okay. Omar, give it to us.
I personally think that Pereira is, or seemingly is, riding the laurels of that win a little too much. It seems to be the narrative, obviously. There's no way. This kid's got a title shot 1 year after coming into the UFC. There's no way that would have happened had it not been for the history, obviously, had it not been for everything that had been going on prior to, to him coming into the UFC. So there's a lot of reasons why he's getting this title shot. And while there is obviously a reasoning behind picking Alex Pereira to win this fight, I just think Israel Adesanya is still on a different level. I'm of the mindset that the people that he fights have not forced him to fight at his full potential. There's a part of me that honestly feels like he doesn't put himself in danger against certain people because he doesn't feel like he has to, or because they don't force him to. Pereira, I don't think will give him that opportunity. I think Pereira will come forward, and he will make Adesanya play with him. There will be a lot of countering, I would imagine, a lot of feints, a lot of setups between the two of them. I don't see this being throwing outside leg kicks for 5 rounds. And again, if that happens for 5 rounds, it's difficult for me not to blame Pereira for that as well. I'm not going to go down that route because we haven't gotten there, but there is some responsibility, I think, on Pereira to bring the fight just as much as there is to Adesanya as well. And I think both of these guys, with their history, Adesanya, I would imagine, wants that one back to some extent. It doesn't sound like he's been crying about this knockout for however long that happened. It does seem like Pereira seems like the guy that go around and be like, "Hey, you know that guy that knocked out Izzy? That was me. That was me." His kids kind of seem like dicks. I'm just gonna put that out there real quick. His kids seemed a little asshole-ish. I don't know if you guys saw the video after Pereira knocked out Izzy.
Oh, yeah.
After Pereira knocked out Izzy, one of Pereira's sons goes into the cage right next to Izzy, pops himself in the head with a water bottle, and just sort of pretends to get knocked out, just like Izzy had just been knocked out prior to that. So they're young. They're still kids. I think they're like 12 now at this point. But they're kind of little assholes. So not thrilled about that there. And so they all seem to be really they all seem to be riding high on the fact that Pereira has knocked out Izzy all those years ago in kickboxing, and Izzy doesn't seem to really let it bother him as much. He 100% admits that it's a personal thing. You know, Pereira right now has got bragging rights. He's got all the reason to talk all the shit, but Izzy's ready. He seems like he's ready for it. And for me, I trust somebody more, and I think I've said this before, I trust somebody way more who's honest with themselves and who's upfront with the reality of the situation, rather than somebody who likes to seemingly hide or make excuses as to why things were the way that they were. Israel said he knocked him out. He caught him. Did some good setups, caught him, and that was it. He's never taken anything away from that opportunity, from that fight. And I think this is the opportunity for him to just show how much better he's gotten over the years and that he's leaps and bounds above Pereira. I think Pereira is very good. I think he could definitely stay in the top 5 for a long time. I just don't think he's beating Izzy. So with all that said, I'm going to go with Izzy by unanimous decision. I also think he wins 4 rounds to 1.
Wow. Man, oh, man. Yeah, it's been interesting to see how dialed in Adesanya has been this week. I feel like the last time we saw him this dialed in was against Costa, because it seems kind of personal between him and Costa for some reason.
Well, Costa was talking wild shit, too.
Yeah. Remember when Costa brought that black belt with him to that stare down and like tried to hand it to Adesanya, and Adesanya like whipped it at him, and I was like, oh shit, he's pissed.
Yep.
Yeah.
This energy reminds me of that, but man, I feel like if it's just going to be a stand-up fight, what's going to be different? I mean, these two guys have fought twice. Pereira has won both of them, and the last one, he knocked him out cold. So, that being said, I don't think it's that different in MMA. I want to take Adesanya, though. My God. I really do, because I love him. I think he's a star, and I love him for the sport. I'll just be different. I'm going to say Pereira is going to... I'll say Pereira is going to win this fight by TKO. Wow, I hate that I'm saying this.
You seem very conflicted right now. I figured someone was taking Pereira here.
Yeah, I guess someone's got to, right? The funny thing is that Adesanya started fighting pro MMA alongside his kickboxing career. He started MMA back in 2012, which is why he has 24 fights, whereas Pereira only started back in 2015, and it's only 7 fights. Much more of a trickle for him. But fuck it, I'll be different, and I'll go against my heart here, and I'll take Pereira by TKO. I'll say round 3. Oh, that's
Yikes.
tough. I hope that doesn't
I hate
happen.
everything about that, Mike.